Welcome to Spinach and Hipflask Taste Stuff. I'm Spinach and I believe that food is fuel, and if it tastes good, well, that's a bonus.
And I'm Hipflask. I just love the taste of good food, and if it's good, I'm there.
Today we're reviewing the Coles Simply Less Tiramisu. So for those who aren't familiar with Simply Less, it's a line that has been developed by the Coles supermarket in Australia, and it's aimed towards the more health conscious, generally low fat and low calorie type products. The tiramisu is a 2-pack and comes in 2 90-gram tubs.
It's 97% fat-free. It can't be good for you.
Yeah, that's where we differ here. It's you're all about the taste. I'm about the nutritional value. So I like the idea of something being 97% fat-free.
So where do we buy this?
So this was bought from Coles, obviously, being part of their private label line. And from memory, I think it was about $2 for the 2-pack on sale.
And we would find this along with milk and cheese in those aisles?
Yeah, it's in the refrigerated aisle next to the yogurts and that type of stuff.
All right. What do you think of the design?
The design is pretty consistent across all the Simply Less lines, so that green, white and red, they all look pretty much the same with the nutritional facts front and centre. The picture and the serving suggestion looks okay. I think it's an okay packaging. I'm not necessarily too excited about the Simply Less sort of branding and packaging overall, but it's fine.
I think it's pretty utilitarian, but that's what you expect from supermarket branded.
Yeah, from a private label
product.
brand for sure.
Yeah.
Let's now have a look at the nutritional facts. So as I said, they're prominent at the front, but if we pop in the back here and have a look in a little more detail, as you can see, a 90-gram serve, it's 162 calories per tub, which is quite low calorie for a dessert, only 1.8 grams of fat, mostly carbohydrates. As you can see, half of those carbs are sugar, and not too much sodium. So looking across the nutritional value, pretty damn good for a dessert.
That's really interesting. Look at the dietary fiber total. Does that mean if you have this dessert, you'll be going to the toilet soon?
It may well mean it's almost 40% of your daily required intake, which is pretty surprising that you would get so much.
A high fiber tiramisu, who would have thought? Okay, let's take a look at the ingredients. Just looking at the main ingredients, it is very much the similar ingredients you would find in tiramisu.
Yep.
What is quite interesting is the fact that egg white and egg yolk separated as 2 separate ingredients. There's a little bit of wine in there, 2% of masala wine. You've also got a bit of alcohol in the glucose syrup, as well as, do you see any more alcohol in there?
It's interesting over here, it says attention contains 1.5 alcohol by weight. So interesting. I mean, it's a very small amount, but if you're a probationary driver in Australia, you can't really eat this and go out and drive, really, can you?
Well, it's a good way to get slosh if that's what you like to do. It's also suitable for vegetarians, so yay, vegetarians.
Yeah, and it's straight out of the eating straight out of the fridge and out of the packet. So let's get to have a look at the product itself. Okay, now we're going to open her up.
All right, let's do it. Well, it should be idiot-proof. All right, looks quite pretty. It's just basically in disposable plastic cups.
Yep.
With a vacuum seal, or what do you call those things?
Yeah, I guess vacuum seal's right.
All right.
So open one up. Spinach. You're Hipflask. I'm Spinach. Jesus.
Kind of insult yourself out. I'm smelling the cover.
All right.
You want to have a smell of the
Let's
cover?
have a smell of the real thing.
Here you go.
Yeah, it smells chocolatey. Smells. You can smell a little bit of that alcohol there.
It smells really cocoa-like.
Cocoa.
It just smells quite delectable.
Cream. Yeah, it doesn't smell unlike a full-fat version of a tiramisu.
Yeah. So just basically looking at the layers. Obviously, it's been constructed to look like an original tiramisu. I'm not sure whether these are sponge fingers, but it does look quite tasty.
Okay, let's get one on the plate and do CSI on a plate and see what it looks like inside.
Let's do it.
All right, Hipflask is now going to get this out of the pack, and then we're going to do some CSI on a plate.
All right. So how do you want to go about this? Do you want to have it plopped out?
Let's try plopping it out first, see if that
I want
works.
to plop it.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Yep, that didn't work. All right. So how about we go for the spoon? That hasn't really worked, has it?
All right, you know what?
Let's scoop the rest
I
out.
can make it look pretty. There we go.
Okay. Do you want to get the rest out with the spoon? You've made a
Okay,
mess of this.
so this is probably not the kind of dessert you want to plop on a plate.
But let's sort of get in there and have a
Use
look
our
what the
imagination.
what the layers look like. So what we can see in there, I guess, is you've got the chocolatey layer at the top,
Yep.
and then you've got a layer of what looks like
Sponge
custard or
fingers.
cream, some sponge.
The sponge obviously has been saturated in either alcohol or some form of liquid, so it's meant to be quite soggy, I would imagine. And right at the bottom we've got a brown base, probably some sugar syrup.
So I definitely agree. It was meant to be left in the in the little cup. So
Looks
let's put this thing out of its misery and have a taste of it in the cup.
Let's do it.
Okay, we've got the second one open. Let's give it a taste.
All right, let's do it. So I'm cut through all the layers all the way to the bottom. There you go. Let's put it in our mouths at the same time. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
What do you think, Hipflask?
It sucks. It's quite granular. It doesn't taste like anything made from Italy, which is quite strange because
It's actually made in Italy.
it's made in Italy from local and imported ingredients for coals. Look, I'll give it another taste. What are your thoughts?
Well, I tend to agree. I think that you've got to go into this with the expectation that you're looking at basically a cream dessert which is presented in a low-fat way. So it is a bit grainy. It doesn't have that sort of nice creamy finish. They've tried to replicate that, by making it quite moist at the bottom. I don't hate the taste of it. I certainly, if you wanted something sweet at the end of your meal and you were worried about your calories and your fat intake, then it'd certainly be fine. I could eat this. Is it the best dessert I've tasted? Not by a long shot, but not a complete fail.
Well, in terms of the texture itself, it's quite grainy. When it goes in my mouth, it sends shivers up my spine. So I don't like that one when I'm having dessert. It's sweet, as how a tiramisu would have to be, but it's just not the right authentic taste.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't. I mean, you can feel the separation of flavours. It doesn't have that nice smoothness all the way through that a real tiramisu would have. You can certainly, the alcohol's quite up front, the sweetness is quite up front, and then the cream has quite an artificial taste.
Yeah. So what's its fake factor?
Well, I think this has quite a high fake factor. I'd give this a fake factor of 8.
8 out of 10?
Yeah.
I give it a 10 out of 10 for its fake factor.
Wow, that's a tough that's a tough score.
It is really fake.
All right, so we've tasted. What do we think in terms of as a product? You go first, Hipflask.
Well, I think I've kind of decided before I even actually got here, so I'm gonna give it a thumbs down.
All right. I think that I tend to kind of like this stuff a little bit more than you. But even given the fact that I'm a bit of a fat-free freak, I'm going to have to give it a thumbs down as well.
Well, so there you go.
But as always, we'll go to the third umpire.
I'm ready.
Okay, Thomas. What are your thoughts on the tiramisu?
Lick it.
Lick it.
Lick it. I think he likes it.
Looks like we've got a win for the tiramisu.